In this tutorial we're going to look at the concept of backing up. Sometimes we as trainers assume that everybody understands and knows this, but in my 12 years as a full-time trainer and consultant, unfortunately I've had almost every year, including this year, at least one person and sometimes several who have lost data. Losing data in NVivo is not like losing data in SPSS, for example. When you're coding data in NVivo, you're bringing to bear on a data set all of your knowledge and experience as a human being and as a professional. You're interpreting and coding this data. Yes, it's a quasi-scientific, rigorous process, but it's also a creative process. And if you lose your data at a critical juncture, you are up the river without a paddle, as they say. The very best you can hope for in terms of your timelines would be to extend them, because you have to start the entire process all over again, and it is a labour intensive and time consuming process. So to avoid that disaster, we're going to look at two ways of backing up your data. One is using the software itself and the mechanisms within it to create a backup file, and the other is to just use Windows Explorer to back up and manage your project file. This is also useful for managing your project data should you be upgrading to a new version of NVivo or moving computer, for example. So we'll start by looking at a backup for using the software for our own from within NVivo. So I'm here and I'm coding away and I've finished my day's work, and I now want to create a backup. Having saved the file first, I go to File, Manage, Copy. And the default location is my Documents folder, but I don't want to put it in there because I want to put it in an external environment, perhaps a USB stick or an external drive or a network, somewhere that's remote from my current computer, so that if my hard drive fails, say my motherboard goes, or my laptop gets stolen, then I always have my data secure. So here's a backup we made earlier. It's the project name and the word BU at the end to distinguish it from the main file, which is always worked on in the local environment if possible. It's just much faster and better if you work on the local drive. And so there it is. I saved that and overwrite each time, and I don't have to have multiple backups then, but I always have an additional copy with my latest work saved on it. And that's using the software itself as a tool to create and manage your backups. But if I close NVivo and if I go to the normal Windows Explorer for the computer and do Start Documents, or browse to whatever folder my project file is actually in, and then I can now copy my external location and I can paste it there into wherever drive I'm going to put it into. So in this case it's going to be the Dropbox. And again we'll just paste and it will get the prompt to overwrite if we're using the same name. So either way, it's very important that to use an American military term, working in an electronic environment with qualitative or rich data is a clear and present danger. You have to be very cognizant of it, that you can lose data, and ensuring that your backups are in order.